for me, and I think for you to some extent, it's about being honest to yourself to be able to create.
Well, I think it's about being honest to your position in the sort of journey, the climbing
Yeah,
journey of any artistic pursuit.
yeah,
And when you first begin and you're an amateur, no one turns around to you and says, "Okay, to use a music analogy, here's three chords.
yeah,
Now go home and I'll see you next week for your second lesson.
yeah,
Write me a song."
yeah,
You'd just be absolutely freaked out
yeah,
by the idea of actually writing a song.
yeah,
What they want to do is go, look, put your hands here, here, and here, smoke on the water.
yeah,
Go home, rock out, come back next week, and they're like, I can do it. You know what I mean? So it's an achievement. So if you take it of it in a musical sense, in a photography sense, then there's nothing wrong with getting your camera and doing a rock in the foreground shot
yeah,
because you're experiencing not only the artistic, but you're also allowing yourself the chance to take away the stress of coming up with something original
yeah.
and concentrating on using the camera technically, which
Yeah.
is another really important
Yeah,
part of what
that
you do.
that is important. By saying I didn't like the education, I did like it. Don't get me wrong, but I liked knowing how to shoot and then
Yeah.
applying that. And yeah,
So then the second thing is that that's like being an amateur. So then there's nothing wrong with like looking through magazines and going, wow, look, that was shot near me. I want to go
yeah,
and do that,
yeah,
or I like that one, or I want to go and travel there. I'll go on my first trip and we'll go to Scotland and I'll go to the Isle of Skye and go and bag all the honeypot cliches.
yeah,
Great, nothing wrong with that. So the second thing is that after you've done this for a while, let's say you're an intermediate,
yeah,
you'll now start to get to the point where you're still bagging rocks in the foreground
yeah,
and trees that are notable that you've seen on social media or various other places or magazines. And then what you're doing then is you're getting bored of that. And then the other part of you is going, but I'm worth more than this. I can
yeah,
do more than this.
yeah,
So you start looking and you start searching for stuff. And that's when it starts to get fun because there's part of you that feels very edgy about doing this.
yeah,
And there's another part of you that loves to return to the safety of the rock in the foreground.
yeah,
Or the Elgol rock like Joe
yeah,
Cornish or something. You know, you're going to do that sort of thing. But what then happens is that as you've become more and more intermediate and you feel more confident in that way, the next thing is that you're then becoming a more advanced amateur where
yeah,
you don't want input. So
yeah,
your iPhone full of pictures that inspire you or your highlight show reel of pictures
yeah,
that you're using before you go to the Isle of Skye to enjoy your photography trip and to inspire you onwards is now no longer necessary. You know where those places are. So rather than going there and suddenly scrolling through your list of pictures from a beach and going, oh, I'm never going to get that. Oh, it's cloudy. It's dull. Well, there's no light.
yeah,
Like this. And, and they're therefore feeling down about it. You go there going, right, black and white. I'm going to do something. I'm going to find something that's really strong. You throw your arms wide. You're all excited and you get on with it.
yeah,
Not you're sitting there feeling down, comparing yourself against pictures,
yeah.
sitting in the car going, I can't even be bothered to get
Yeah.
out. I feel so depressed.
I mean, that's a big part of it is that, there's always going to be someone better. And it doesn't matter about that. But, like, comparing yourself to somebody else is not necessarily ever going to do your creativity good, yourself good, and where you want to be with this field in the future.
So then
Going
you so
out,
then you got the
seeking discomfort. Yeah.
sorry. So then we got the advanced amateur,
Mm.
or then you've got the professional, shall we say, where
Yeah.
you're going and you're so self-motivated that you have absolutely no requirement for input. You'll do your research like anybody. You wouldn't go off to somewhere and not know where you were going.
Yeah.
But rather than have a phone or a computer full of pictures that you want to go and bag, you're not going to do that. You don't feel like doing that because if you do that, then what's going to happen is you're just going to come back with a load of derivative work that
Yeah.
other people have seen. And okay, I still create derivative work. I'm not going to go somewhere and walk away
Yeah.
from something that has a value. And that's something we else haven't even discussed about, which is like the purpose behind it, the genres,
Yeah.
or the are you doing this to sell work? Are you doing this to be creative? Is it a personal statement? Are you doing this as something that's literally used for training
Yeah.
or whatever else? There's many purposes as to why you go and do it. So the biggest thing is that don't fear being an amateur. Don't fear being an advanced amateur,
Yeah.
but make the progression and push yourself always forwards, thinking about where am I going to go? How am I going to do this? What am I going to do? And some people find the creative process very complicated. They find it very difficult. Other people have a better flow of it. But if you think about computers allow us to be able to then enhance what it is that we photograph.
Yeah.
And you can get a different sort of boost in your ability from knowing that you're very good with computers. You've got a lot to learn with the art.
Yeah.
But you could be the other way around. You're very good with art, but you're just not very good with computers.
Yeah.
Or you could be really good at selling yourself and being online and not very good at either of the other two.
Yeah.
So there's room for everybody in this when it comes to the actual arena of
Yeah,
photography or
arena of
art or
photography.
whatever.
Yeah, 100%. Because there is definitely the market of like people who aren't necessarily great at photography, and they can just sell themselves. And there are people that are great at photography, but they can't do them because like there are a bunch of people when I had a bunch of friends I know that have taken photos, and it was like, you've got just talent, you've got a creative eye there. Why don't you try something? And it's just something that they don't necessarily want to do because it's like,
But there's also the fact that this pursuit is quite solitary.
Yeah.
It's not like you're in a band where you've got like 5 other people and you're working as a team for an objective. Most of it's relatively solitary. And because it's solitary, and because of the very nature of the fact that we've emotionally invested in a specific thing, we want very badly to communicate that and to feel accepted for our concepts. And the thing is that when you don't get that back, if you don't get that back, especially at the beginning, you feel as though, well, I don't even know what I'm doing. Where am I headed? And the thing is that I'm at the stage, I'm right at the other end of it now, in the sense that I don't even care if I have any input, or if I do have input, I only get input from a few people who I know who know me, and that who trust me, or I trust their judgment in what I'm doing. So this comes to my decision that I made probably about 4 years ago, and I just removed myself from all social media related stuff, and it wasn't because I had a massive hang up or anything. It was more to do with the fact that I found that by allowing myself the space and the time to evolve, in other words, naturally, without this whole, I've been to Dartmoor twice now and I've got nothing, and what am I going to do? I've got to put a post out on my followers. Oh my God. Like, let's not have any of that, right?
Yeah.
Let's just go there and fail 5 times, and then let's get the 5th time, and then feel as though there's the triumph, as I explained in my analogy earlier. It's about realizing and approaching this with a massive maturity, not to have this, I've got to pin a picture on the corkboard that everyone sees, otherwise they'll think I don't exist. And the thing is that comes from our modern anxieties that we have, but it also comes from the fact being that we're relatively solo on this pursuit, and there's no feeling of like communication unless we do that in the fastest, quickest way to get that dopamine back. It's not constructive. Not long term. Not for the long haul.
Yeah, 100%.